Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of Wargaming 2022. I am, as always, your host, AR, with Ohio Patriot Education Network. For today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit more about what is going on in the Ohio State House currently and what will be the future, potentially, of the Ohio General Assembly with this most recent primary shakeup and a couple other things. Obviously, you got a couple state reps basically being ousted, and you got some new people coming in there now, and yeah, hopefully it'll be a lot less corruption when the fall comes, if we actually see the whole thing shake out as it will be, which is most likely you'll see a couple seats basically stay red, but it'll be different people in that state, in the different districts for the state house is what it is. So basically today I really want to talk about one particular individual, and that is Thaddeus Claggett, who was the guy who ousted current state rep Mark Frazier. So apparently I did not know this until now, but I guess Claggett and Frazier actually were in a race last go around in 2020, and unfortunately in that race you did not see Thad win then, but he won now, and it seems like the guy is more of a just everyman, if you will. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this one. And there is an article I do want to talk about today, which is obviously this local affiliate here in Ohio, which is here where we got Thad Claggett ousts Mark Frazier in delayed Licking County GOP primary for Ohio House. And then obviously, as the thing said, Claggett wins rematch against Frazier in delayed primary. Said for the second consecutive election, Newark Republicans Mark Frazier and Thad Claggett battled for an Ohio House seat in delayed primary election. So this time, however, Claggett emerged victorious, securing 58% of the vote with a historic low turnout in the rare second primary election in the 68th Ohio House District. So Claggett received 3,993 votes to 2,892 for Mark Frazier. It said, according to the final unofficial results from the Licking County Board of Elections, that is kind of low to think about, dude. When you got, potentially, I think it's something like 8 million Ohioans right now have the right to vote in the state house, or I should say in the state for our state house and everything else like that. And you have like roughly 7,000 people in this county voting for that district. Like, that's fucking pathetic, dude. That being said, when I went to vote the other day, we were talking to the women that were the poll workers and stuff like that. And we were like, oh, yeah, how's it been today? And they're like, slow. And I'm not surprised by it, because the sad part was we walked in there to go vote. We were the only ones in there to go vote at that point in time at like 12:30 in the afternoon, something like that. And it took us longer to drive to go vote than it did to actually vote, because it was literally, okay, you're going to load this card up, take 2.5 minutes to do that. I walk over, stick the card in the thing, hit 1, 2, 3, 4 on the friggin' different elections and stuff like that, and then take my card back to you. And it took me really, honestly, it's sad. It took me less than 2 minutes to vote, honestly. It was probably more like a minute and a half, because it took me about 45 seconds to walk to the voting machine and about 25 seconds to actually cast my ballot for various stuff, dude, because there was not that many races on there at all. It was quite literally state rep, state senator, and I think it was some local, like, clerk of court stuff or something like that. That's what it was. So, yeah, pretty pathetic entirely. But it makes sense, though, because I'm assuming it was something similar with this thing between Claggett and Frazier. So, anyway, continuing on with the rest of this article, though, it said, 2020 campaign, COVID delayed 71st Ohio House District election, where Frazier won by 307 votes with 51.4% of the vote to 48.6% of the vote for Claggett. That's fucking pathetic, dude. So Mark only won the last election cycle in 2020 by 307 votes, dude. That's telling right there, because that guy basically it was that dude's like best friend and all of his buddies basically voted for him versus this Claggett guy. And then people were like, oh, Frazier's just a piece of shit entirely, dude. And he really is, honestly. Like, Mark Frazier's a scumbag. I believe he was one of like 2 or 3 who were the ones who basically allowed that asshole Bob Cupp to become our Speaker of the House, dude. because they were the ones that basically were like, I nominate this fucking jackass to be the fucking new Speaker of the House and stuff like that. And the thing is, here's the deal, man. As much of a fucking piece of shit as Larry Householder was, he was a great Speaker of the House, dude. Like, as much of a corrupt asshole as Larry Householder was, because there's a bunch of other corrupt assholes still in there that are part of HB6, by the way, including sitting Governor Mike DeWine and sitting Lieutenant Governor John Husted, not to mention Nan Whaley's best fucking friends in the state house, like Catherine Ingram, who's trying to run for state senate now and stuff like that, dude, and all these other Democrats, because there are at least 10 of those assholes that are on HB6 as well, dude. So, yeah, honestly, if the HB6 scandal were to do stuff correctly, man, you would have had like 70-something people go down for that, including like at least 20 Democrats. So, anyway, it's just pathetic entirely, dude. But continuing on with this, though, it said this year the Ohio House candidates did not appear on the May primary ballots due to Supreme Court's invalidation of a redistricting plan. June 24th, Supreme Court of Ohio issued a court order permitting additional candidates to appear on the ballot for Tuesday's election, normal date for special elections. Quote, I believe I'm more representative of where the county is, Thad Claggett said. I'm a practical guy that gets things done. Claggett 51, president of Claggett & Sons, Inc., a Newark commercial contracting company in business for 68 years, has also served as president of Licking County Library Board. He said prior to the polls closing, he could not predict how a low turnout would affect the result. Quote, we all know it'll be a very small turnout, Claggett said hours before the polls closed. We didn't spend much money on polling. I'm not enough of an elections expert to sort that out. We feel like we had a plan and executed the plan. We ran a good race, and I'm very comfortable with that. Anything's possible. In 2020, 11,055 voters cast ballots in the Claggett-Fraser race. This time, with an overall Licking County turnout of under 10%, the same candidates received a total of 6,885 votes. That is fucking pathetic, dude. So basically about half, actually just over half of what they had previously. But again, this is what happens when you have two fucking primaries, because piece of shit fucking asshole cunt Maureen O'Connor, being the rhino sack of shit that she fucking is, fucked us over and sided with a bunch of Democrats in our state Supreme Court, all four of which should have been impeached already, dude, several times over for the shit they pulled for several different races at this point, including several different redistricting maps, and not to mention the most recent one for 2024 that they keep fucking around with now, because O'Connor is aged out is what it is, dude. She has no ability to rerun for re-election this year because she is termed out through age limits at being 7 years old now. So, yeah, it's a bunch of crap, dude. Hopefully Sharon Kennedy will actually be the new Chief Justice when O'Connor is fucking termed out then at the end of the year, and we'll actually have a good actual state Supreme Court come 2023 then. But I don't know. I'll tell you right now, if I was in this General Assembly, I would have already gone up to Cup and be like, you either do your job as Speaker of the House and start the fucking impeachment process, motherfucker, or I'm going to oust your ass, and then I'm going to do it myself as the new fucking Speaker. Because that's the kind of shit that happen at this point, honestly, in history, dude. Not to mention, bitch-ass Bob Cupp is fucking termed out at the end of the year. So, anyway. Actually, now I think about it, I'm not sure who actually won the race that would be replacing him now is what it is, because of the map redistricting and stuff like that. I'm not sure if it's the same district or not. So, anyway. Let's see here. Then, of course, you got some random guy voting there. The old blue-collar guy. Anyway, it said, Fraser said the low turnout... Yeah, I got turnout expected to be abysmal on Tuesday's second election there. So Fraser said the low turnout did have an impact on the outcome. Said, I'm very proud of the campaign we ran. Ultimately, we went to motivate people who want to vote for you. I'm happy with the people who took the time to come out. Some people were not aware of this. It was election day. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Like, this is what I don't understand, right? How the fuck do you not know it? Like, dude, they've been talking about it for like fucking 2 months now. If you seriously didn't know that the 2nd of fucking August was going to be the second primary in Ohio, you're a fucking idiot, dude. If you were that, like, seriously, Mark Fraser, if you were that fucking stupid, bro, that you weren't on the bullhorn and being like, hey, people, come vote for me on the 2nd, Like, you're a dumbass and you cost yourself the race there, buddy. And it seems like you did because you lost by like 1,000 fucking votes, dude. So, anyway, where we're at now. Yeah, it said Frazier, 34, received a Republican Party appointment to the. Oh, there we go. Yeah, he was appointed to the State House in 2019, filling the unexpected term of State Rep Scott Ryan. Then won a two-year term, which concludes at the end of this year. So yeah, so this guy was basically Mark Frazier was exactly who fucking everybody else is in the State House right now, whether it be Sean Stevens, whether it be Kevin Miller, all these fucking people, dude. They are appointed people by the fucking party, which is absolute bullshit in of itself, dude, because it's the same fucking bullshit we've seen with the Democrat Party for years now. You had Janine Boyd leave the fucking State House. You had Stephanie House leave the fucking State House. You had all these other piece of shit Democrats leave the fucking State House. And what happens? The Democrat Party is then allowed to put somebody in there for the rest of the fucking term, dude. It's a bunch of crap entirely. And I am so fucking sick and tired of it, dude. I am so sick and tired of this two-party bullshit in this fucking state. And it is way past time for Ohio and every other state in this country, honestly, to start having every single party represented in this fucking country, dude. And that's the thing. I don't give a shit if it's the fucking Communist Manifesto Party or the fucking Constitutionalist Party, dude. Everybody should have a seat at the fucking table. It shouldn't just be a fucking jackass and an elephant rolling up against each other is what it is, dude. Which is exactly what it is in so many states right now, including the state of Ohio. And it's a bunch of crap, dude, because even the fucking actual physical polls of like 50,000 people here actually show that like more than half the 50,000, dude, are unaffiliated with either party. And that's the entire point, because they don't give a shit about either party, dude. And that's exactly why we need to have better fucking representation and more actual representation as libertarians, as internet libertarians, as constitutionalists. If fucking Democrats want to call themselves communists and stuff like that, run as a communist party, good on them. At least they're fucking telling the truth for once, for God's sakes. You know? And the same thing with rhinos too, man. If they want to run the fucking communist party, they can do that too. You know, seriously. Or Democrat socialists, or whatever the fuck they want to call themselves, honestly. You know, Marxists is what it really is, honestly. But, yeah. So, thank God this jackass became a one-termer is what it was, dude. Well, 1.5-termer, I guess is what I'd say at best. Let's see here now. Yeah, it's an incumbent. Mark said, Cleggett's campaign tactics also contributed to a different result in this rematch. Quote, I want to say congratulations to my opponent, Frazier said. I'm not happy with the kind of race he ran. Outside PAC groups, negative campaigning, dark money groups such as Americans for Prosperity. Clearly, it was very effective. That's interesting because you say dark money groups such as Americans for Prosperity. I'm pretty sure that's an actual known group for being pro-constitutional. Pretty sure, dude. Pretty sure. Americans for Prosperity is a pro-constitution group. Let me go check that just to make sure on that one. Let's see what it actually comes up as here. Let's see. Americans Prosperity, founded in 2004, is a libertarian conservative political advocacy group in the United States, founded about. Oh, okay. Never mind. Maybe Cleggett isn't a good guy, actually, now I'm thinking about it, because that was Dave and Charles Koch. It was the Koch brothers that are Americans for Prosperity. If that be the case, like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, my opinions may have changed if that is actually who funded Thad Cleggett's political race here, man. Again, man. Hard to tell, because the thing is, for all I know, the fucking incumbent guy is the one that's also funded by the Koch brothers, for that matter, dude. So, I don't know. If nothing else, Thad Cleggett becomes a one-termer, if nothing else, you know? And somebody who's an actual constitutionalist primaries his ass in 2024 then. You know? There you go. Everybody gets primary is what it is, bro. Because it's time to primary everybody in this fucking country, honestly. Seriously, bro. Anywho. Let's see. Continuing on with this, though, it said Cleggett said voters remembered former House Speaker Larry Householder's support for Frazier and the 2020 radio and television ads attacking Cleggett. By the way, this is a picture of Mark Frazier here, this jackass. So 2 years ago, a House Republican campaign committee paid for ads alleging Cleggett's company received millions in taxpayer money for a civil lawsuit it filed 14 years ago over a school renovation contract at career and technical education centers of Licking County. Let's see. So Cleggett said at the time, not one word of what they are accusing me of is even remotely true. This election, Cleggett said, those ads were not forgotten. Said everywhere I went, I heard about that, Cleggett said. That was so repulsive, and we reminded people of that, and we reminded them of his ties to Householder, being Mark Frazier. Like I said, dude, if you, like this is the real problem, right? Because if you have ties to Larry Householder, you are basically it's no different, honestly, than why the Democrats are basically choosing to walk away from Joe Biden at this point, dude, including the asshole Tim Ryan, because they know that Biden is a fucking death nail in their coffin, is what it is, dude. And it's the same thing with Householder and these fucking scumbags, dude. And that's a good thing. Like, you know, thank God Frazier's fucking gone now. Fuck him. You know, seriously. And that's the thing. Am I really going to believe the guy who most likely has taken dark money himself at this point? Most likely bribes and shit in the state house? Again, one of the same motherfuckers who literally said, hey, we should have Bob Cupp be the new speaker who's just as corrupt as Householder is. No, fuck you, Mark Frazier. I don't believe a fucking word out of your goddamn mouth, dude. Fuck off. And that's what I'm saying. And that's the thing. I would want like an independent third party at this point to show me shit that's like, oh, here's Thad Cleggett that has America's Prosperity, the Koch brothers fucking funding him and stuff like that, dude. Because I don't believe it for a fucking second coming out of Frazier's mouth, dude. Especially after all that shit that I just read there. So, anyway. Let's see, where are we at now? Let's see. Yeah, Thad said, everywhere I went, I heard about that. So that was so repulsive. We reminded people of that. We reminded them of Frazier's ties to Householder. Householder trashed me. I felt it was such an unfair election last time. Thad Cleggett said polls showed him ahead by 20 points on the original 2020 primary election night on March 17th. But with the election delayed until April 28th due to COVID, the ensuing attack ads made all the difference. No Democrat filed to run for the Ohio House seat. Yeah, so basically that means that dude's just going to win now, from my understanding. At least that's what it seems like. So basically, you're going to have Thad Cleggett, no matter what, pretty much be the incumbent now. So that'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens here then, man. And like I said, I have absolutely no problem working with Thad Cleggett at this point, dude. If he's going to be a constitutionalist, if he's going to, swear an oath to office and uphold that oath to office, Ohio Patriot Education Network, Ohioans for Firearms Freedom, et cetera, we'll have absolutely no problem, working with this dude, drafting good legislation, putting through Pro 2A stuff, putting through Pro 1A stuff, putting through all kinds of constitutionalist legislation, just making our state better is what it is, man, overall. And that's the thing. This is what we need, man. We need good people to primary out Rhino Sacks of shit is what it is, dude. Because you could actually have different things be done. You could actually have a better country overall. And the real thing starts, and this is something I plan on talking to people about when I'm down at the State House this fall, which is, hey, if you're not on board with actually putting in a new piece of legislation, because we already have term limits on both sides of the House and the Senate in this General Assembly, why the hell are you allowed to flip-flop them, dude, after you're termed out? Like, codify that somehow. I don't care how you do it, but make it so that anybody that has been either termed out of office or has been, I would say anything, really I'd say it like this. Anybody that's been in office longer than 2 terms in either side, so it'd be basically 4 years. If you're in office for 4 years or more, dude, you cannot run for the other side of the General Assembly ever, is what it is. Because that way you get rid of all these career politicians. You get rid of your Kirk Shearings, you get rid of your fucking Scott Ullingers, you get rid of your Shane Wilkins, you get rid of your Catherine Ingrams, Pamela Hicks Hudson, fucking Cecil Thomas, Bob Peterson, all of them, dude. Because these are all the motherfuckers that have continuously run and run and run and keep winning and winning and winning, not because they're the best candidate in the fucking race, but because they are the most well-known career politician, which shouldn't even be a fucking thing right now, dude. And that's the thing that pisses me off the most, honestly, is We do not need career politicians in our fucking country, dude. What we need is good, honest, hardworking Americans who fucking give a shit about the Constitution, who actually want to see a better country for not only themselves, but for their kids, for their grandkids, for their nieces, nephews, great nieces, great grandnephews, everything else like that, dude. You know, it should be like that old parable about planting a tree whose sun you will never sit under, dude. That's what we should be working on right now as a country. Not fucking, oh, let's have some piece of shit who's been in office for fucking 20 years win another fucking term. I'm looking at you, Tim Ryan, you little bitch-ass motherfucker. Seriously, this asshole has been in Congress for 20 goddamn years, dude, done fucking nothing for Ohioans at this point, except continuously fuck us in the ass. And now he's trying to run for the U.S. Senate. Fuck that shit, dude. Not only that, this fucking asswipe has proxy voted at least 60 fucking times now this year alone, dude. Where he has been such a lazy bastard, he can't even go to fucking Washington to vote, dude. He's like, no, I'm gonna have somebody else vote for me now. Including most recently, where he's fucking campaigning here in Ohio while claiming COVID rule bullshit to go fucking have people proxy vote for him there, dude. For a bunch of stuff, including the anti-gun crap they pushed the other day, dude. And it's like, no, that alone, you're done here, Tim Ryan. Get the fuck out. Don't come back, bitch. You are such a fucking punk-ass motherfucker, dude. Which basically brings us to our other thing we want to talk about today, which was, there was a Breitbart article that was talking about J.D. Vance finally releases his first campaign ad here. So I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, it's, let's see here. Grab this real quick here. Yeah, J.D. Vance released his first campaign ad starring his, quote, favorite person. So Ohio Republican Senate candidate J.D. Vance released his first campaign ad on Wednesday starring his favorite person, his wife. So, yeah, it's pretty funny. And then, of course, go ahead and do a little screen share here real quick. There's the actual video with his wife there in it. So, interestingly enough, so this is what I think is interesting, right? So you have Vance having his wife there, and then every single attack ad, I should say every single ad that's been in Ohio right now for Tim Ryan has been an attack on J.D. Vance since the fucking election, dude. Since the May election. It was literally like, I think it was like the 3rd or 4th or whatever of May is when that happened, or maybe it was the 5th, I don't know. Whatever that first Tuesday was in May there. But yeah, it was ever since that day. It was that next day, that Wednesday, you started having random Tim Ryan ads, or maybe it was that Thursday. I'm not sure. It was like next 2 days, basically. One of those next 2 days, you had Tim Ryan start running fucking ads that were like, I'm Tim Ryan running for U.S. Senate, and fuck J.D. Vance, and J.D. Vance is this, and J.D. Vance is that. And it's like, at what point do we just say, hey, you can't fucking run campaign ads for at least a couple months before the general election, dude? Like, that alone, I think, is a bunch of crap right now, dude. We actually don't have laws like that on the books, because it's like, the last thing I want to hear is some Tim Ryan bullshit, dude, is what it is. Especially when, like, half the stuff is a bunch of lies or shit taken out of context and everything else like that, which I know for a fact if I ever run for election, I already know it's going to be used against me right now, and it's all the shit these fucking douchebags here have tried to fuck me on, dude. You know, something that's not even fucking public knowledge and never was public knowledge. And people tried to make it public knowledge and have opened themselves with defamation lawsuits, by the way. I'd like to point that one out real quick. So, yeah, fuck around and find out, boys. Because if you ever try to use that shit against me, I will sue the fuck out of you at this point, dude. And I'm dead serious about that one. Because it's a bunch of crap entirely, dude. It was an offhanded remark. It was taken out of context. And get over it is what it is, man. For real. But anyway. So... yeah. As Vance said here, he said, I love our first ad where my favorite person tells my story. We fight for Ohio because it's our home, and when I was a kid, Ohio gave me a chance. By the way, if you have not watched Hillbilly Elegy, you should. Like, that is the, like, seriously, that is the main reason why previously when I was trying to run for elected office and stuff, dude, it's what reinvigorated me to want to run, was J.D. Vance's story. So, you know, that is telling, is what it is, man. So, anyway, here, it said, Yeah, Vance said, love first ad. Favorite person telling a story. We fight for help because it's our home. Give us a chance. And the 30-second ad. Usha gives a brief summation of Vance's life as popularized in the book Hillbilly Elegy and the Ron Howard directed movie starring Glenn Close and Amy Adams. Said our family story is an Ohio story. She begins. She recalls that JD's rough upbringings in Middletown, Ohio, which is right outside of, I believe it was Cincinnati. It could be Dayton though. I can't. It's one of the two. I can't remember. It's one of the. It was that. It's one of the cities right outside one of the major cities. What it is. Anyway, said as he dealt with a mother struggling with addiction and an absent father. Said my husband JD grew up in Middletown and things weren't easy. His mom struggled with addiction and his dad was not there, but JD was lucky. He was raised by his loving grandmother and served his country as a Marine in Iraq. Ad concludes by hailing Vance as an incredible father and a wonderful husband who wants to give to Ohio what the state gave him, a fighting chance. And see, and it's shit like that right there is exactly why I'll be voting for JD Vance come November, dude. Because the thing is, Tim Ryan is a bitch, dude. He is a bitch motherfucker who has done nothing for this state except screw us over continuously. He's a fucking multimillionaire now, just from how long he's been in Congress, taking congressional paychecks, $170-something thousand a year, every fucking year is what it is for the last 20 years now. Extrapolate that shit, and it's got to be fucking, $8-10 million now. Something crazy like that. And then not only that, all the insider trading, everything else that scumbag has done since then. And it's like, nah, bro. And not only that, but then you got this douchebag Tim Ryan on fucking Twitter and shit like that being all like, it's a woman and her doctor that need to make the choice of abortion. No, dumb motherfucker. It's the woman and the fucking child's father, you piece of shit. You fucking asshole. Elitist scumbag. I am so fucking sick and tired of Tim Ryan, dude. Honestly. That dude is the greatest example ever of why we need to actually be able to fight elected officials at this point, dude. I mean that seriously. Because, honestly, that's where we've gone to at this point in history, dude. But anyway, not to mention, I'm sure that there could be some stuff that's talked about with him, but, I can't really talk about a lot of that stuff on YouTube here because of, the algorithms and the fucking terms of service and everything else like that. So, if you want to hear my real thoughts on Tim Ryan, we'll talk about that later on Rumble, because we've already talked about it on Rumble, and we've talked about it the same way that we've talked about Sherrod Brown and Biden and Kamala and everybody else like that, dude. So, the line of thinking I'm going down is what it is, man. But anyway, yeah, I'm sure if there was actual things that happened, there would be, a lot of dirt brought up there, dude, and people would be like, yeah, this guy probably shouldn't be walking free right now. And I'll just say it like that. So, anyway, that being said, yeah, it's interesting there. And that's what I would like to see. I'd like to see Ohio get a fighting chance, Also, for those that haven't heard, I guess Kansas overwhelmingly votes to uphold abortion rights, which it wasn't really them doing that per se. The problem really was, so what happened was that their primarily their day, you had the question being asked, should abortion basically be banned in the state of Kansas or not? And as far as people understood, there was no exceptions for anything is what it was. And so it's either a yes or no question. It's yes, it should be completely, or no, it shouldn't be at all. And because of that, people were like, yeah, we're going to vote no. And, you guys know about me being pro-life and stuff like that. If you haven't known that, you should know that now. My thing is, even I understand exceptions should be had, rape and incest, even though those only make up teeny little percentages is what it is, dude. But it still should be a thing is what it is. That being said, we can get into a debate all day about a whole thing there. And yeah, I've talked about this on Rumble a bunch of times. If you want to hear my thoughts on it, I'll just go over there, find the channel, watch the stuff over there, man, is what it is. But yeah, my thing is, I believe innocent life should be protected at all costs in a lot of cases, dude. And the real issue becomes, going down this road for a minute, too many females in this country right now don't want to take responsibility for their own actions, dude. And so they'll use abortion as birth control. And that's a fucking problem right now, especially when the whole thing was supposed to originally be, safe, legal, and rare. And then it's used fucking on demand then because people are too fucking loose is what it is, dude. And it really goes back to just no morals in this country is what it is, dude. Like, there's such a lack of morals in this nation anymore. And then people wonder why we're so fractured. People wonder why we're heading towards civil war in this country, honestly, dude, or a second revolution for that matter, or something along those lines at some point, balkanization, if you will. It's because of all that stuff, honestly, dude. If you want to go listen to about 17 hours of me talking about Civil War, Revolution, and Balkanization, just go check out the Rumble channel, dude. I put up a bunch of videos on there about those topics before. And I will continue to talk about that stuff over there because, it should be talked about is what it is. But, yeah, needless to say, going back full circle to, Thad Claggett, it's interesting that from my understanding from that article I was reading there, it almost sounds like had the original 2020 primary happened when it was supposed to back in March of 2020 instead of April, you may have actually had Thad win back then is what it would have been, dude. So you would have basically had Mark Frazier. Be I'm All right, sorry about that. The internet was being a little bit wonky for some reason again, for connections and stuff. But anyway, as I was saying though, Mark Frazier being an appointee in 2019 would have probably only been there for like 6 months to a year, give or take. It's very similar to what happened with Sean Stevens actually here recently, with Beth Lear beating his ass is what it is, dude. Which I am so fucking happy to see her get in there, dude. Yeah, like that's one of the few races that I was actually paying attention to, and I'm just like, yes, that's who needs to be in there right now, dude. And that's the thing, like you want to talk about like the whole MAGA movement and stuff like that, dude, for a minute. That shit just transcends Trump at this point, dude. Like Trump may have created it or whatever, dude, but like honestly, it has transcended him in the last like 5 years, basically, is what it is, man. And it's no longer about him; it's about the party now, and it's about the people, and it's about just America, is what it is, dude. And that's what many people want, honestly. They want America first, and they want Americans first, is what it is. We shouldn't be. The thing is, we shouldn't be second class citizens of our own fucking nation, dude. Is what it is. There's no reason to be giving fucking all kinds of crazy handouts to people who don't even legally exist in this country right now, dude. And obviously by that I mean illegal aliens is what it is. So, for those interested, apparently I guess LA County is no longer forcing citizenship to be a requirement for government jobs now, which is so fucking ridiculous, dude, entirely. It's like, bro, why don't you just secede from the fucking state at that point and just become little Mexico now, dude, for real? Because that's what you basically are now. But anyway, it's just fucking ridiculous entirely. But yeah, anyway. Going back though and talking about Frazier versus Claggett here, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, given if we actually had the original primary in March of 2020, if Claggett had actually won. Because you look at going back there to that article, 307 votes, dude. That is not a lot of people, dude. So you're basically talking about essentially like 300 people or like 200 people or whatever saw the fucking attack ads by Householder and Frazier back in 2020. And then the 100 and something people that they talked to were like, hey, what do you think about this guy or whatever? And that dude's like, yeah, that guy's a fucking scumbag, dude. He totally took a bunch of money or whatever here. And they believed that the attack ads was what it was. And so, yeah, I think that's exactly what cost the guy the last time around is what it was, dude. So, It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see if Claggett is legitimately on the level or not, dude. Because if he is Americans for Prosperity people and stuff, like, yeah, that's kind of fucked up, dude. That would be Koch brothers. It's interesting how that was described though as like libertarian stuff, which is totally not that thing at all, dude. If it's Koch brothers stuff, it's just basically, scumbag rhino bullshit. So, like I said, I don't believe what we're out of Frazier's mouth. I would have to have an independent, thing here, be like, oh yeah, here it is, dude, kind of thing. Because I'm not going to believe some dude that's like the actual incumbent right now and just a scumbag, rhino sack of crap, being all like, oh, hey, man, I'm going to talk shit about this dude because blah, 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 and I should still be a state rep kind of thing or whatever. It's like, nah, bro, fuck you. So, anyway, I don't know. Hopefully we'll get to cleaning up the Ohio State House here in the next couple of years is what it is, man. Whether it be this General Assembly that's going to be in 2023 or whether it be the one that starts in 2025 with the 2024 elections, if we actually make it there or not. Or, maybe we'll just balkanize as a nation by then and we'll just have Ohio and a bunch of other states become a giant block of states together and start making states' rights thing become a thing, dude. Because honestly, at this point, we should kind of be invoking states' rights against fucking government, dude. Especially if you haven't heard, I guess Project Veritas recently outed the FBI itself for making a bunch of stuff with a militia violent extremism, which is interesting because I remember them talking about that shit. What was it, 8-9 months ago, maybe a year ago almost now? I feel like I had that talk with people like it was either last fall or it was like last, winter or whatever. And it was like those phrases being used then. It was like domestic violent extremist and militia violent extremist and stuff like that is what it was, dude. And it was basically them talking about like, oh yeah, you're going to be on lists now and stuff like that. It's like, dude, I've been on a list for at least 3 years now since I was federally swatted in 2019, which by the way, I will be doing a Rumble exclusive next Thursday, which will be the 3rd anniversary of the day I was federally swatted. So, look for that because that'll be an interesting one. And we'll basically break down everything that happened in the past 3 years since then. And, what I'm up to nowadays, which is obviously, still being pro 2A as fuck, still being constitutional as fuck, and now having Ohioans for Firearms Freedom and Ohio Patriot Education Network as two of the pro 2A and pro constitutional orgs in the mix and whatnot now. So, and then hopefully one of these days we can actually get some money in the coffers. We'll actually have defenders of Ohioans' rights, DOR, actually be a real bunch of people that are just basically lawyers that we're hiring to get people off, because it's absolute bullshit today in the state of Ohio that you have constitutional carry being a thing now, and yet every single person for the past 20-something years now that's been fucked over with Masonic firearms and motor vehicle does not have those actual charges immediately expunged from their records. Because that's the thing, man. Like, how are you going to charge somebody with that kind of crap? And then you have constitutional carry go into effect now, and that's just not immediate rights restoration at all across the board, dude. It's not right at all, dude. It really isn't. So, anyway, that's pretty much what we're at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you all over on Rumble.